If you're the kind of person who feels like they need therapy, you need someone to talk to make me feel better, do you know what you are? You're useless. Because in the harshest realities of this cold world, there are people in Syria whose entire families have been blown to fuck with a bomb from the sky, who are still getting up every day, making fucking bread, and selling it on the streets, so they have enough money to buy a new pair of sandals sometime next year. Or you're crying about fucking nothing with your first world bullshit to some dickhead therapist who probably does coke on the weekends. I think 99% of the world's problems would be solved if females walked through life with their body count on their forehead. It would prevent so many things about the world. And women would be like, to be with me as a man, I don't want to put another number on my forehead, you have to be a good man. It wouldn't stop f***ing these idiots and stop being idiots, and all the idiocy would disappear, all the degeneracy would disappear. Families would return, virgins meeting their first man, staying with him her whole life and being proud of it. But couldn't we go back to such a beautiful age? All we have to do is start putting numbers on girls' foreheads. We could fix everything.
Do whatever the fuck I want. It doesn't matter.
Which is, what would that be? That
I'm becoming a doctor. And just my career.
Your career.
I'm passionate about it, so.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
A life without children is vacuous, and it's inane, and it's pointless. And you may sit here and think that your career matters, but the truth is that your job will fire you out of wind and don't give a solitary shit. And when you're 52 and you're past it, with no grandchildren, in a house by yourself, and all your friends have grandchildren in this beautiful life, and you're sitting there by yourself, you think the fact that you could afford a few extra Gucci bags is going to genuinely make you feel happy? I was at my grandmother's 93rd birthday. There was a whole room full with maybe 70 people that came from that one woman. Isn't that remarkable? That nobody cared about her career. Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. And if you sit here and genuinely think that you're going to work your ass off through your fertile years, and by the age of 54, you're not going to be suicidal alone with a cat, then you're dumb.
If you're a hot girl, if you ever feel lonely, you click your Instagram inbox, you scroll through, and you decide who you want to reply to. These girls are never lonely. They're never not talking to someone. The reason it's so hard for a man is you're not trying to make her like you. You're trying to make her like you more than she likes the guy she was talking to before you. You're always in competition. I only see it getting harder and harder. I don't see it getting any easier anytime soon.
The fact that a woman will get in a car designed and built by a man and go to a studio that was built by men and sit on a chair that was built by men and talk to a camera that was built by men and tell the world that men ain't shit shows she is worse than low IQ. She's a bad person. Men built a society which is so civilized that women can sit on TV and hate us. You couldn't do that unless men built you a safe society in the first place.
The problem with modern dudes is that their main sex organ is the tongue. Favorite position is head between the thighs. I fail and now have 3 kids. He's saying that most people are so interested in trying to please a woman, they've forgotten what sex is for. They've forgotten what your duty is as a man, which is to have progeny which respect you and are good for the world. Licking pussy, really, there ain't much point to it.
I don't want to look like a misogynist, as usual.
Misogyny is okay to a degree.
Okay. What degree? Let me know. Give me a number out of 10.
I think it depends how we're defining misogyny, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you define misogyny?
Realism. Realistic. A lot of misogyny is just realism. You know, like if you're a realist, then to some degree you're going to be a sexist.
But is that sexist or is that just being real? Right? Because like, if it's a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Then is that sexist?
Exactly. So I personally, I don't like traveling the world with women. I think it's one of the most frustrating things a man can possibly do.
Why?
Okay, imagine you had to travel around the world and you had to take a 3-year-old with you. You'd be like, oh, now you go, where's my 3-year-old? Has it 8? Have to make sure they're safe. Got to bring all their stuff. It's exactly the same with a chick. It's all, oh, I need food, I need water, oh, where's my stuff? My case is 55 kilo. Oh, I forgot this foundation. I need to find this foundation. It's horrible.
Don't.
Okay, but can we validate men that have...
Completely. If you have mental health...
So we can't go player, just validate men that have mental health issues.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Men who have mental health issues, I wish them the best in the world.
Okay, great.
But when they come to me and say, and I get this all the time, Andrew, I have this problem, I'm depressed and I can't go to the gym. I say, no, I disagree. You're depressed because you don't go to the gym. If you go to the gym, you might start to feel better, right? I'm saying you can't sit as a man and afford the luxury of saying, I have a mental health issue today, I'm sad today, I'm stressed today, I'm emotional today, I can't work. Because
you will lose against the men who don't do that. And the male world is more competitive than you could possibly imagine. And it's the women who pick the winners. So I find it very interesting that a woman sits here to me and says, no, men are allowed to sit around and do fuck all and feel sad. And those are the men they ignore when they DM.
No.
When you were at your peak value, you had zero interest in monogamy. Then you find a man who's 35, his peak value, him at 35, is you when you were 19. When he was 19, no girl spoke to him. When he was 23, he was broke. When he was 24, he had no life experience. He finally gets to the point where he's now at his peak value. And I had to work for my shit. God and L'Oreal gave you. I had to go through hell to get on this yacht. You got on the yacht with an Instagram DM. I had to buy it. And now you're telling me I need to fucking settle down and behave and grow up? Fuck you.
Are not his father. Calm down, baby. It's okay. We're all here. We're all here. I'm here with you.
There is a reason why it's women and children first of all. And that's because their life matters. And if you talk about 100 women dying, people give a shit. If you talk about 100 men dying, it's happening right now in Ukraine, nobody gives a fuck. And that's just the reality of the world as a man. As a man, your life is not important.
You have to look at it all and understand they are trying to make a slave of you. They are printing money from the sky and you're giving up your life for it. If they can create something in unlimited amounts anytime they want and you'll give up your life and time for that said thing, you are their slave. They don't need to use power and control and whips anymore. They just have the money print button.
You are dependent and beholden on a company or a government or somebody else to give you money and to feed you, which means you are not allowed your own individualistic sovereign ideas. You must obey the ideas that they want you to believe or they cut off your money. They want you dependent because if you're dependent, you're not allowed to think. That's why.
I've never been to like a music concert. And people ask me why, and I said, I just look at it and I feel embarrassed. I look at someone up on a stage dancing around, and I look at hundreds of thousands of peasants in the crowd. Just, yeah. I'm like, I feel cringe. It's like secondhand embarrassment when I see these festivals and everyone's losing their mind or these music concerts. I genuinely feel embarrassed for the people who go, because to me, that is a form of worship. Like, you can listen to the music at home for free. You don't have to wait in that line and stand out in the cold. And I've always known that they're trying to give us false idols to some degree.
The people who are in charge of the world, they only need slaves. They don't need us to be happy, sovereign individuals. So how do they keep us in control? One, they divide us, and they divide us by race. Ideology is another way. Look at countries like America. All they talk about is race. Black, white, black, white, black, white. Why do they do this? To break it up. Because if all the poor people woke up and realized it doesn't matter that he's black and he's white and he's Mexican, we're all poor, and that one guy's rich. Now the rich people are in trouble. So instead, they make sure all the poor people fight each other. When a billionaire, a white billionaire, and a black billionaire meet each other, do you think they care about the skin color? Do you think they care? No, they're billionaires. It's disrespect that will drive a man to the most heinous of crimes. It's disrespect that starts the school shooter bullshit. It's disrespect that makes men go to jail for life sentences. When you truly disrespect a man in a public and permanent way, that's when they switch. That's why I'm so respectful in public. You don't know who the fuck you're talking to. He might be on his last fucking straw. Disrespect is dangerous. And in a household where you're constantly disrespecting a man, he's gonna end up depressed and sad for even accepting. Men just want to feel respected. It's not that hard to do. Because women confuse this very often. They talk about the fact that men have all the power, men make all the money, men are in charge, and we oppress women. Let me make something very clear to you.
Okay.
Firstly, you're confusing 1% of men with all men. The majority of men have no money, no power, no sex from their wife,
Facts.
no fucking chance in court. They can't even keep their house. They won't get to see their kids, and they don't. So most men, their life sucks.
Okay.
That's the first thing. The second thing, when a man gets up at 4 a.m. to go carry garbage to earn a good wage, he ain't thinking, I'm gonna do this so I can oppress that bitch because she's broke. He's doing it thinking, so I can provide for my family, so my woman can stay at home and raise my kids and have nice nails while I'm out here carrying trash. You go to a coal mine, those dudes are not down there thinking about oppressing women. They're down there thinking about providing for women.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that there's not bad apples, but in general, us men are prepared to take on more bullshit to protect you than you would possibly believe. And in the modern world, they've spun that. Feminism spun that. Men make all the money. You women need more money because men make the money and men are in charge and men have the good jobs. Men are out here giving up their fucking life.
Look at this. A group of girls said a male classmate sexually assaulted them. He was escorted from school in shackles, charged with crimes, spent an entire summer indoors with an ankle monitor. Finally, the girls admitted they made it up because they didn't fucking like him. It's absolutely insane. Girls sat there, literally put a guy, he could have committed suicide, stuck in his house, worried about being accused of something he didn't do, and they all have Instagram. And they deleted my Instagram saying I'm dangerous.
What happened in America that you fled to Romania? What happened there?
Because America is a failed society.
Wow.
If you can marry a woman and she can divorce you, take all of your money, take your children, and decide to turn your son into a girl and force hormones on him at 5 years or 8 years old, whatever, that's a failed society. If you can't go to a cash point at 2 a.m. without the risk of someone shooting you in the head, that's a failed society. There's no freedom in America. You have to be careful what you say, where you go, what you do.
You're starting to go dark here. You're starting to go down that dark path again.
Imagine one day you're sitting in Paris, you're sitting there having a fucking coffee, and terrorists roll through with AKs, and the person next to you has their brains blown out. You're going to stand there and be like, waiting to die like a motherfucker. I'm going to be like, bang, oh, I've seen that before. Okay, boom, boom, duck and dive in, take one terrorist out, next get the AK, go Rambo, take out all of fucking Pakistan with a G. I don't play games.